And I often say this to you, and I always feel a bit rude, but you've been around a long time, you counted them in, you've counted them out. Have you seen anything like the shambles that the Keir Starmer administration is in right now, only 14 months into a premiership? I mean, allowing for Liz Truss's brief 49 days.
Well, yes, I am as old as Mephistopheles, but I think you'd need to be to go back as far as the last time anything like this has happened on the British political landscape. I mean, for Keir Starmer, there is an expression, snafu, situation normal, all screwed up.
Thank you for not using the full terminology. But this is the thing, it's sort of day after day, and lots of unforced errors. Let's start, though, with the one-in, one-out migrant flight to France, cancelled after some sort of some protests by charity groups. Who cares? That's what they do. And some legal threats. But again, was there actual proper legal action or not? But a government and basically putting out to the newspapers, to the media, we're going to have the migrant flights this week. First one's on Monday afternoon. I mean, no one would have found out about this otherwise. And then it doesn't happen. A classic failure by this government's media strategy, surely.
Well, yes, one of many. I mean, Julia, you knew and said actually on this programme many times that this was never going to work from the very beginning. And so it's turned out, I think, that you weren't alone either.
Yeah.
I mean, every single attempt by this government, if you can actually even call it an attempt to curb illegal migration, has turned out either to be a non-starter or a complete fraud. They're just trying to gaslight the British public.
Yeah.
And the reason is that Keir Starmer and his Attorney General are human rights lawyers. They believe that the world should be running Britain, not the British Parliament or its politicians.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fundamental thing. Meanwhile, we've got all of this fuss over Keir Starmer's, what he told the public last Wednesday at Prime Minister's Questions, and this pooled clip of an interview he did yesterday about what he knew about Peter Mandelson, now Lord Mandelson's relationship, close friendship with Jeffrey Epstein, in particular after Jeffrey Epstein had been convicted of soliciting the prostitution of a 14-year-old girl. Most of us perhaps would think that that was someone, not only that for their public future job prospects they wouldn't be continue to be friends with, but they wouldn't want to be friends with that person, what with pleading guilty to soliciting a prostitution of a 14-year-old girl. It kind of tells you all you need to know. Yesterday he said, had I known then, at the point when he appointed Mandelson last January to the job of British ambassador to the United States, if I'd known then what I know now, I would never have appointed him. What do you make of that claim?
Well, I think it speaks volumes for everything that Keir Starmer, in quotes, stands for. In fact, what he doesn't stand for. And what he doesn't stand for is truth, veracity, and being straight with the British public. Everybody knew, and again, I'm sure I can quote you as saying something at the time, that Peter Mandelson's track record in government and out has been one of shocking dishonesty. I mean, the man is a very clever politician, but not when it comes to his own interests or those of this country. And he is a corkscrew politician. He cannot walk a straight line without deviating off to some sinister sort of purpose of his own. I think that Starmer has known this from the beginning. And as I've said before, this man is a former director of public prosecutions. Yeah. He is a leading silk, a King's Counsel. Yeah. The fact that he didn't question any of the measures or preparations for Mandelson taking over this absolutely crucial role was a dereliction of duty on his part at the very least. Yeah. And in fact, as it turns out, an act of deceit. Yeah,
well, indeed. I mean, Keir Starmer seems to be claiming there's this idea that, you know, Peter Mandelson is such a brilliant operator. He's so brilliant. He's a former EU Trade Commissioner, went off on that gravy train, obviously, after leaving British politics in disgrace twice. And he knows about trade. He'll help us with a trade deal, as if a trade deal is more important than, you know, teenage girls' safety from sexual predators. This is the thing, Keir Starmer, you know, former director of public prosecutions, politician, the Prime Minister of this country, should care about our reputation. Concerns about, you know, the concerns have been raised not only about Peter Mandelson's honesty. I think the man has never deliberately told the truth ever on any occasion. He's never met a billionaire he doesn't like and isn't willing to benefit from. His trade links, his commercial links with China alone, I think, discredited him. But here's my thing. Forget Britain's reputation. Forget all of those things. Keir Starmer is a father. He's got a teenage daughter. This is a man that he knew for a fact in the public domain, remained friends with a man, close personal friends with a man who had pleaded guilty to soliciting prostitution of a 14-year-old girl, and he was happy to appoint this man to represent our country. What does that mean?
Yes, a man who admitted staying at Epstein's luxury mansion in New York while Epstein himself was actually in jail for procuring young women, young girls.
Yeah,
and you'd think, wouldn't you, that this particular government and this particular party, the Labour Party, would be somewhat alert about the interests of vulnerable young girls, having weathered the Pakistani rape gang scandal.
Where's Jess Phillips? Jess Phillips, hi Jess. Jess, Jess, can you hear me? Jess, a minister for fighting against violence against women and girls. Hello, I'm pretty sure being a 14-year-old girl and being forced to masturbate a grown man, I'm pretty sure that would count.
Yes, and of course Peter Mandelson didn't notice because he's a gay man and apparently now very happy to talk about something that he once got very angry when we disclosed the fact.
Yeah, it is extraordinary, isn't it? And yet another unforced error. What do you make of another top Starmer aide, Paul Ovenden? He was the number 10's director of strategy. Again, I think what I'm most surprised about is that there was a director of strategy. He wasn't at work very often, as far as I can tell, but he's basically number 2 to the chief of staff, Morgan McSweeney. But he's quit over these lewd messages sent in an email about a conversation that other people had about Diane Abbott, basically the snog, marry, avoid game. I mean, you and I worked in the same office at one point in the House of Commons. I'm pretty sure that that's a sort of game that loads of people have played in their offices, and not even, it wasn't even in the workplace, this conversation. It wasn't even to a work colleague, it was a former work colleague. He's forced to resign. What does that tell you?
Well, it tells you everything, like so many things do right now about this government, this Prime Minister, this cabinet, this party of warring factions and disagreements. I think that what you're seeing is the gradual, in fact, rapidly escalating disintegration of the Labour government from the core out. And it isn't going to be the end. I mean, McSweeney himself, I think, is in serious danger. Yeah,
he's not going to last, is he?
I do wonder how my old friend Tim Allen is managing in there as the head of communications. He must be tearing his hair out because there is no way anyone is going to be able to control. This has reached its own momentum, a force that cannot be constrained. We are watching for the British public a tragedy of the disintegration of our democratic system. I hope it's a temporary one and it will be recovered, but it will not be recovered by this government.
Indeed, and I remember saying soon after the election, this is not the people I wanted to be in government, but it's in all of our interest for them to do well. You might go, you want them to fail catastrophically so they can be ousted and we get another government, whether it's from what's Conservatives or Reform in. But you know what? We've got 5 years of this. We're 14 months in. The damage that this can do to our country is extraordinary. I just don't think we're going to survive this situation. Just finally, though, who's having a worse week? Is it Keir Starmer or is it Kemi Badenoch, the Tory leader, who saw yesterday the very, very first defection of a sitting Tory MP in Danny Kruger, and a serious man. He's been at the higher echelons and a shadow minister. And now today we found out that another former Tory MP, the former Health Minister Miriam Caulfield, has also defected to Reform. Who's having a worse week?
Well, I think Keir Starmer is winning the race to oblivion, but the Tories aren't far behind, are they? I mean, Danny Kruger is a big, big prize for Nigel Farage. He is not one of your rent-a-quote deserters who is basically going to the best option for his own interests. I think that he genuinely thinks that he has the interests of the country at heart. And we are moving to a situation where almost tragically for Kemi Badenoch, I mean, she inherited an impossible situation, and the desertion of Danny Kruger is again only the first of many. I suspect that Farage's party, Reform, will have twice the number of MPs by the end of the year.
Yeah, it's going to be... we'll hold you to that. I think you may well be right.